what we was thinking we was going to talk about is I felt like this Sunday was a raucous Sunday for starting quarterbacks, not to be confused with franchise quarterbacks. Think about this for a second. I feel like the two top candidates right now for MVP are Baker Mayfield and Dak Prescott. Two starting quarterbacks. Right, I don't know how much you saw that Dallas game, but Dak was dealing.
When he looks good, and he's had moments like this through the last 5 years where where he's throwing the ball over the field. And I forgot that CeeDee Lamb was back until we hit him for that giant touchdown.
That was the moment I realized it too. Like, that's the best pass I've ever seen Dak throw on that square end.
Yeah. I mean,
and then he made them dudes run into each other.
I mean, he's big. He steps up in the pocket. I mean, and he's hitting CeeDee Lamb. He's throwing the ball all over the yard. I put these stats in for you, but I'll go ahead and read them. Last 4 games, 71%, completing 71% of his passes, over 1,000 yards, 14 touchdowns, no picks.
Amen. And that CeeDee Lamb George Pickens combination is in a similar weight class with the Jamar Chase T. Higgins. Because Pickens looks incredible.
I mean, Pickens certainly looks incredible, and he's your number 2.
Yes. But also, let us not forget, we've not seen NFL George Pickens with a real live quarterback.
And all of a sudden, he starts behaving. Who knew?
Like, I hate to use that word, right?
Yeah.
Except he does such childish things when he's not on the straight and narrow.
That word sounds like, even. When I say that word, I feel worse saying it coming from me, obviously.
Yes.
But
Producer Slim Shady needs to be careful in making the reference.
Those are the words. But I feel like there's about a list of 5 people I can get away with it. I think George Pickens is one of them.
I think it's fair. But no, they look, if they can play the littlest bit of defense, because now the Cowboys fans are talking about this like, if they can get Max Crosby in trade, do you do it? Now, I will just make this point that if you made the Michael Parsons trade just so you could get Max Crosby, that's hustling backwards.
Yes.
That's not the way to do this. But they got to get some heat, because the Make-A-Wish Foundation, if you don't get no pressure, it's just going to continue to be a charitable contribution.
Right.
But they can put some points up. By the way, this is 1 week removed from Rico Dowdle making his Hall of Fame case against them last week. They lost 30 to 3 or something ridiculous like that.
I think they lost a close game, but I think Rico Dowdle might have had 200 yards.
No, you're right. You're right.
It was a close game, but Rico Dowdle someone who used to play for the Cowboys. It was the Rico Dowdle revenge game.
That's right. The Panthers did that to the Falcons because of
right.
But though it made it worse was Rico Dowdle told them to buckle up, and they still ran for 200-something yards on them.
Exactly.
They were like, yes, we're buckling up to make your dreams come true. That's all they could do. But, man, if they could play a little bit of defense, they are going to be something. Speaking of starting quarterbacks, every time we say to ourselves, this Indianapolis Colts thing, like, come on, what are we really talking about here? For whatever reason, the Chargers dressed up like mustard bottles and went out there and got their teeth kicked in. Now, I think that we are all in a place where we're still trying to figure out exactly how good the Cardinals are. I mean, not the Cardinals, the Chargers. How good the Chargers are. But we all generally believe that they were good, right? Or at least okay. They are 4-3, but I still feel like we largely believe that they're a pretty good team. Or like a team that I think is going to make the playoffs. There was no question who the better team was in this game. None. Like, is this real? Is this happening? Is this this is the thing. This is a wild situation to watch where, again, Daniel Jones, starting quarterback. How much money is he going to make next year? He's on a 14-year prove-it deal. How much money is it going to cost the Colts to keep him? Because they have to keep him, because what they can't do is go back to Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna look at what Sam Darnold got. You look at Baker got a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, he comes out here. I mean, he's throwing for over 8.5 yards an attempt, and I think he put up a 113 rating in this game. Like, he's making throws. It is not the dink and duck offense out there. I mean, Shane Steichen clearly has a way of getting things out of slightly limited quarterbacks.
But I'm going to warn you guys, okay? And I think that this is an important warning. And you tell me if I'm wrong here. Do you remember the 2015 season of Ryan Fitzpatrick with the Jets, the Fitzmagic season, where somebody broke Geno's face in training camp, and then Fitzpatrick got the job and then threw the season away with 5 or 6 interceptions in the last week of the year, and then he was the starter next year, and he wound up getting benched for Geno, who, in classic Geno Smith luck, went out there and tore his ACL in the game that was played right after. But the return to earth happened. I'll give you another example. I don't even know if you remember this one. In 2008, you remember when Vince Young went for that drive and didn't tell nobody and everybody freaked out?
Yep.
And he lost his job to Kerry Collins. And I want to say they went 13-3 that year. They walked. And then the next year, Kerry Collins went back to being Kerry Collins. And they had to get that job back to Vince Young for a little while.
I mean, remember the last 2 weeks of Sam Darnold last year?
Yes.
Like, I mean, it was like Sam Darnold was playing for the 1 seed and then plays the 2 worst games of the seasons back to back, and they have to ship him off for Seattle for a quarterback who played at maybe a half of a game, 2 games this year.
Right. Yeah. But I'm just saying there is a world in which Anthony Richardson gets this job back from Daniel Jones. It ain't happening no time soon.
No.
Just to be clear. But there's a world where they wind up. Put him back in. No. Just put him back in. Just put him back in. But no, that's kind of what we got. Oh, also, by the way, great game from Jalen Hurts this week. Like all of us have talked a lot about how Brian Flores and he be confounding people. The Eagles made what I thought were a couple of dumb calls at the end. One was that second down where they're trying to ice the clock, and Flores called a 0 blitz, and so Hurts threw a bad pass because the heat was coming, and it stopped the clock with like a minute 40 left. The Vikings had only used one of their timeouts. It looked like they were going to get the ball back. Flores did something not that bright and called another 0 blitz, and this time the Eagles were ready for it, and they threw it down the field and nailed it to ice that game. Like, Jalen Hurts got it done in that one. Both receivers had 100 yards. Everybody's going to be happy. A.J. Brown ain't reading books. You know what I'm saying? They got it done. I just got to make sure some of y'all think that I be hating. Man, I was doing some wedding activities, right? And so this wedding I was supposed to go to, it's a Sunday wedding, and I was not able to make it to Sunday because I had to do this podcast or whatever. So I'm kicking it at the wedding, this stuff, and this cat, he come up to me. He an Eagles fan. You know, this happens when I go to weddings, man. They know who you are. You know, they know you're a sports guy. So, they get their chance. So my man's talking to me, real cool cat, but he keep talking to me about the Eagles. And he's like, we're going to beat the Vikings. We're going to beat the Vikings. We're going to beat the Vikings. I'm like, all right, man, you're going to do that. My man going to play. All right, you're going to do that. That's okay. He's like, all right, I'll bet you $20 that the Eagles are going to win. He's like, and we gonna collect on it at the wedding. I said, cool, $20, dapped him up. Here's what he ain't realized. And I sent it to somebody to show it to him. I was the Magic Johnson meme about that wedding. I'm not going to be there. And I wasn't.